The United Nations Population Fund just announced that October 31st is the date when they estimate the human population in the world will reach 7 billion people. So this is a very timely question. Is it a problem that the world population will be 7 billion really soon? Yes, absolutely that's a problem. It's a problem not because the population is a certain size, but it's a problem because the world has limited physical resources and human life depends upon those resources. As those resources become more and more scarce, as indeed they are, we have an increase in human violence, in poverty, in famine, and in general degradation of the quality of life. How do we address this? Well, the one-child policy in China has shown us many things, one of which is that people are going to carry out policies only as much as their values allow them to. That's really, that's a claim with a lot of kind of information behind it. But I feel like education in changing values is the only way we're going to be able to address this problem in the long run.
It's a very serious problem, both socioeconomically and ecologically. Every person born leaves some sort of ecological footprint. And if you look country by country, there's out of 200 plus countries, there might be 4 or 5 that are living in a sustainable way now. And every time we add more people, it reduces the probability that countries will live more sustainable. I think countries need an aggressive population policy. The Japanese actually began this years ago in recognition that they live on a finite island. The Chinese have done this, even though it's created demographic problems in terms of too few people paying in to support too many, nothing, a substantial wealth and income tax on the upper income earners would help to address that problem. But I mean, I think every country has to do this. One thing we've studied in development is the microeconomic theory of fertility. Around the world, you need to give women more employment opportunities, not only to get a job, but it's a good paying job, so that the opportunity cost of them having children goes up and up and up. And in every country where that's occurred, birth rates have gone down. So it's a whole combination of things, but I think it needs to be a commitment to recognize that this is disastrous. Animals have the good sense to reproduce at a slower rate or kill off one another, however draconian that sounds, when they're too densely populated. Humans don't have the brains to do that, or the willingness to do that.
There you go. Okay. Yes, population growth is a problem, and yes, there are some things we can do about it. The reason that I state that population growth is a problem is it is at the root, population growth is at the root of every major significant problem that we face on this our Earth today. Global climate change, one major challenge ahead of us, is rooted in population growth. And the corresponding changes in hurricane intensity, in droughts, in movement, crop losses, and so forth. Look at the loss of marine fisheries. We've lost more than 2/3 of our marine fisheries are either overexploited or at the limit of exploitation right now. We're losing fish, and fish feed the world. That is a result of population pressure. Look at increased intensified agriculture, so much so that we're losing soils throughout the world at a rate greater than they can be replaced. We're losing water, aquifers, underground water supplies irreversibly in many of our huge crop production areas in the world. We are creating dead zones. Over 200 of the major Earth's rivers, including the Mississippi and Yangtze, have at their mouths entire dead zones as a result of our intensified agricultural activity that's done in response to a demand for increasing food production. Look at increased urbanization, major problem. Poverty resulting from urbanization. And there's incredible pressures mounting as the population of the Earth expands in urban areas particularly. Where do the poor move? They move to places that are environmentally less sustainable. They move to areas in which we're encroaching on agricultural land. Loss of habitat. Well, before I finish that one, the incredible poverty that exists on Earth is exacerbated by population growth. Loss of habitat. We have used over 2/3 of the Earth's arable, well over 2/3 of the Earth's arable land. We've had a human footprint on more than 2/3 of the Earth's surface, and that is a result of increasing population pressures. So much so that we can see 25% extinction of bird species since humankind has increased its populations. We're losing species, we're losing ecosystem services. These are all population pressures. Many, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Urbanization problems, 75% of our fruits and vegetables are threatened. Fruit, vegetable, and dairy production is threatened by urban sprawl. And that's where the population growth is mainly increasing. What can we do about it? Increase family planning, both at the local, regional, national, and international level. What else can we do? Improved education, mainly in poor areas, mainly for women. Equal rights, again, with special attention to women. Women are the power of the world, and when they're neglected, poverty increases. With poverty increases, the population pressures on environmental systems are exacerbated. Those are just a few. What else can we do? Government policies. There's a lot of movement in Idaho to say no government, but you know what? Without government, we don't have the political pressures and incentives for local sustainable development, emphasizing stable local systems. In that way, you reduce the pressures for imports of agricultural products that exacerbate global climate change, exacerbate loss of food production systems, and on and on. So improved education, improved equal rights for all people on Earth will improve the poverty situation. Without solving poverty, we won't solve the population growth problem. And governmental policies. That's just a few, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.